Three things sitting in your kitchen right now helped move 12.5 million people in chains: sugar, rum, coffee. Between 1501 and 1866, ships carried roughly 12.5 million enslaved Africans across the Atlantic. And these three crops were the reason those ships kept sailing. The sweetness in your morning cup has a body count. This is the history nobody prints on the label. Start with sugar. Europe went wild for it in the 1600s, and cane only grows in hot, wet places, so Caribbean islands were turned into sugar factories worked by enslaved people. The crown jewel was Saint-Domingue, the French colony on the western third of Hispaniola. By the 1780s, that one colony grew about 40% of the world's sugar and held around 500,000 enslaved people. It was the single richest colony on the planet. The work killed fast. Boiling houses ran day and night, and planters just bought more people to replace the dead. Then, on August 22, 1791, the enslaved rose up. 13 years later, in 1804, they won and named their free country Haiti. The richest colony in the world was built on cane, and it burned. Now the rum. Boiling sugar leaves behind a thick black syrup called molasses, and molasses ferments and distills into rum. Nothing wasted. In New England, that cheap rum became money. By the 1770s, more than 140 distilleries in the colonies were turning Caribbean molasses into liquor, a lot of it in Rhode Island. Ships carried that rum to the coast of West Africa and traded it for human beings. This was the triangular trade: rum east to Africa, enslaved people west across the Middle Passage, sugar and molasses north to distill into more rum. Round and round it went. One Rhode Island family, the De Wolfs of Bristol, financed more than 80 slaving voyages and carried over 10,000 people. A single barrel of liquor was a link in the chain. Then, coffee. When Saint-Domingue fell, the world lost about 60% of its coffee almost overnight, and Brazil answered the call. Through the 1800s, coffee plantations spread across Brazil's Paraíba Valley, and the workforce was enslaved. Brazil took in more enslaved Africans than any nation in history, close to 5 million people, roughly 40% of everyone shipped across the Atlantic. While Britain and the United States moved to end slavery, Brazil kept buying. The country did not free its last enslaved people until May 13, 1888, when Princess Isabel signed the Lei Áurea, the Golden Law. Brazil was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery, and coffee is a big reason it held on so long. So the next time you stir sugar into your coffee or pour a rum on a Friday night, remember that these three everyday things were once the engine of the largest forced migration in human history. 12.5 million people. It is all documented in Caribbean plantation ledgers, in the transatlantic slave trade records, and in Brazil's own Golden Law of 1888. The taste is still sweet. The history is not. This has been Food for Thought. New food